A rich employee? But how? What if I told you there are actually 3 ways to get rich as an employee? Well, in this video, I'll break down which method works best depending on who you are. The first method is working at a startup, not just for the salary, but the equity. I'm talking about getting a piece of the company you work for. This is how some employees make millions without ever starting a business in the first place. Let's break it down. Say you join early when a company is small. You accept a lower salary than you'd get at a big name like Google or Meta. But in return, you get shares in the business. So if the company grows and one day gets bought, your shares are bought too. Or if it goes on the stock market where your shares can easily be sold, you could walk away with a lot of money. When you join, the average startup is worth about $10 million. Let's say you got 1% of equity in a company that grows to a $1 billion valuation. That's 10 million bucks. But it's not that simple. You see, your stake gets smaller every time the company raises money, meaning your 1% could actually be 0.5% by the time you're able to actually sell anything. Most companies take 4 to 7 years to reach a point of exit, and that's if they make it. But even with a smaller stake, 0.5% of $1 billion is 5 million bucks. That's enough freedom to never need to work again. You should probably know equity isn't unlocked straight away. You get more based on how long you stay at a company. This is called vesting. Most companies give you all of your shares after 4 years. So to really get the bag, you need to stay for at least 4 years. When choosing a startup to join, 2 things need to be true. 1, you believe in the idea big time. If you think the market is huge and the product actually works well, then why not join them? Get a seat at the table however you can. And 2, you believe in the team behind the idea. A great idea is nothing without execution. You need to trust that the people leading the company can actually pull it off. If you're interested in working at a startup, I've built a list of hundreds of companies hiring right this minute. Joining one could change your life forever. Click the link in the description below. The second way to get rich as an employee is from something called overemployment. That's when you work lots of high-paying jobs at the same time. I went to university in a big city, London, and coming from a small town, I wasn't going to survive unless I found a job. So I worked at a restaurant, cleaning toilets, washing dishes, and sometimes serving customers. I had to pay for rent, bills, and everything that came with living on your own. At the end of the month, I looked at my bank account and it was basically empty. Not because I spent too much, I just needed to make more. So I picked up another job, then another, and even at one point a 4th full-time job. It kind of looked like this. A great employee does a 9-hour job in 3. So with 6 hours left, why not do it again? When I had 4 jobs, I was working every waking hour, sometimes 16 hours a day, but that's a little overboard. But for most people, I think 2 is very easy to do. There's 2 ways to be overemployed. 1, work your 9 to 5 office job, then another 5 to 9 remotely, or work 2 remote jobs and then split up your working hours throughout the day based on what tasks you have to get done. To be honest, it was pretty hard to manage that workload, but as I started getting better jobs that paid more and took less time to do, I would replace the worst jobs to make the most money with the least time spent. Then I started seeing my bank account grow like never before. I wasn't just surviving, I started stacking money like crazy. I didn't even notice it happening. Just to put this into perspective, say the average person makes $5,000 a month and saves $500. What if they had 2 more jobs, each bringing in $2.5K after tax? That's an extra $5K, but with more income, you're not spending any more to live. So instead of saving $500, you're now saving $5,500 every month. That's 11 months worth of savings for the average person in just 1 month of your time. Do that for a year and you'll save what most would in 11 years. That's why overemployment works. You can't do it forever though. Most do it for 2 to 5 years. 5 years to do what the average person does in 55. That's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. The best overemployed jobs are usually in tech. Software engineers, UX designers, QA testers, basically things where what you do matters more than how long you do it. Top tip, avoid startups because they want you to work a lot. I can say that because I did this and ended up working a lot harder than I probably should have. What you gotta do is target traditional companies, big businesses that move slowly. One guy spent 7 years working multiple jobs and walked away with 1.2 million in savings. Just so you know, most people who do this aren't millionaires, but I know some people making 300 to 400K a year consistently with just 2 to 3 jobs. Along the way, if you're careful, no one finds out, and you'll be sitting on a big pile of cash. Now, let's talk about the slowest, but maybe the most stable way to get rich as an employee. Being great at one job. I'm talking good enough that companies will literally throw money at you just to have you there. You're just that good. Even without being a CEO, these people pull in 7-figure salaries. Top marketers, engineers, and finance folks, or even operations people. But it takes time. I'm talking 10 to 15 years of working your way up the game. Let's take tech as an example. Say you want to be the chief technology officer at a big name company. You're probably going to work through 5 levels. You'd begin as a level 1 software engineer. This is your training arc, learning the basics and fixing bugs. Then you'll be a level 2 software engineer. Here you actually get to do important work, building real software that people use. The next level up is an engineering manager, where you can actually lead projects and have a small team with other people lower down the chain. Then you'll become a director of engineering. This has you managing lots of teams. And finally, a vice president of engineering. Here you run the entire engineering division and report directly to the CTO. And who knows, from there you might actually take that job one day. But here's the catch, you have to love what you do. Because if not, you won't last long enough to reach the levels with the big money. When you're at the top of your game, you become irreplaceable. Think about top AI researchers, the folks who were at DeepMind or OpenAI before it blew up. Some of them got poached with multi-million-dollar offers. The former CTO of OpenAI is now raising billions to make her own startup. And the crazy thing is, she hasn't even launched a product yet. That's what being great at your job can do. Just remember to really love what you do. That way, you'll be in a tiny group of people who are so in demand that companies battle to hire you. So if you're looking to get rich as an employee, which one makes most sense to you? Well, if you're talking about which one takes the least time, that would be overemployment. As you get money today, which lets you buy assets and build wealth immediately. It's worth remembering, this path is pretty exhausting, but if you can just handle 3 to 5 years, you're chilling. Then I'd say working at startups is next. Success usually takes between 4 to 7 years, and even then, it's not guaranteed. The odds are against you, but you don't even need to join the next billion-dollar company. Just make sure the equity you're offered is worth enough given the company's endgame. Then I think being great at one job takes the longest. I mean, giving up 10 to 15 years of your life just to be in the top 0.1% of your field, but at this level, your earnings can be insane. What about the most stable option? Being great at one job is probably the most stable. Startups are somewhat safe, but if you like building things from scratch, there's always another opportunity and a new company somewhere else, because a new startup launches all the time. Now, overemployment is the riskiest. Normally, you do this very low-key, because if your boss finds out, you might get fired and have to start from square one all over again. Whatever you choose is up to you. There's no wrong way to get rich as an employee, but all of these have worked in some way for ordinary folks like us. They all share one thing in common though. Every path needs non-stop work for at least a few years straight. But if you keep going, after a while, you won't realize how far you've come. Anyways, I've been Ryan Kier, and I make videos for employees because I'm one too. See you next Saturday for another video.